Now we have Chaotic Time Trio. This is probably my personal favourite, and it's another Sans trio, so I have a lot of Sansas to go over. I'll get into why it's my favourite later, but for now, let's just go through all these Sansas. So we have Tears in the Rain, who doesn't have any canon lore, but there are lots of different takes that give him different lore. So if you want to learn about those, let me know and I might do a video on it. And if not, just do some research yourself. We have Call of the Void, who basically gets contacted by Gaster and uses the Determination Extractor to bring him back. We have Betrayer, who we talked about before. He fights you after a Soulless Pacifist when you do a genocide on the surface. Karma's a Bitch, we also talked about before. He uses the power of Karma to fight you without Gaster. And then there are also separate encounters for Red, who is like a dummy that's a ghost possessing a dummy, who's in the wants to be in the Royal Guard or something. And then there's an Undyne encounter as well, and you know Undyne. So, yeah. So, the name I do feel is a little bit generic, but it does make sense as Sansas from chaotic timelines, and the timelines being in chaos. So, yeah, 3 points. Similarly to Karmatic Time Trio, these Sansas have good morals and sanity, so therefore they would all team up to fight you. This trio probably has one of my favourite OSTs of any, so I'm going to give it the full multiplier for music. Each phase here makes sense and is justified. I'll go into more detail on the next section, but yeah, all the phases are justified. Even some of the Fanon phases make sense, so I'll give it the full multiplier. Well, not multiplier, but I'll give it the full 5 points for phases. Okay, so we go into the lore here. There isn't much backstory in terms of lore, but there is a lot of lore during the game itself. But yeah, I will give it 5 points for lore just because it's very well fleshed out in the game itself, even if it doesn't have much backstory. Once again, this is one of the most famous Sans trios, so I will give it the full multiplier for fame. Now, this is something I didn't account for. In terms of members, Tears in the Rain is revived in Phase 3, but he's still a lost soul at that point, and also it's part of Call of the Void's lore in his fight where he does revive Papyrus, and Tears in the Rain kind of takes this position in Phase 3. So therefore, I am going to dock half a point, I think, because it makes sense why he'd be there, but still it's 4 members in the trio, which makes no sense. So I'll dock half a point. All in all, this trio wins a score of 25.75, and that's about it, I think. That's this video, donezo.